FICO score. So these actually have 6 as opposed to the 5 when it comes to the Vantage versus the FICO. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna explain this a little in depth of what your FICO score is, what was made of right here. We're gonna get to those things in a second. So the biggest chunk is the 35%, which is your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? As you know, or maybe you do or you don't know, what's most important is the last 24 months. Like if you're going to get a house, the mortgage broker is going to pull your credit and see, have you been paying your bills on time? Has there been any late payments, any delinquency within the last 2 years? And we want you, just some advice, just to pay on time, even if you're paying the minimum. That's when it comes to things like credit cards and stuff of that nature. You can actually do the math. So since the top is 850, you can multiply 35% of 850 and 0.35 times 850. And that's the maximum you'll get in points when it comes to your FICO score. So I'm gonna tell you how important and how crazy one late payment is when it comes to your credit score. One late payment undoes 3 good payments. It takes pretty much 9 months to recover from a late payment. So we don't want to do that, guys. And it can drop your score drastically. And you'll see that a lot, especially in the Vantage scores, but your FICO score will drop drastically as well. And it takes like 9 months to recover from. So at the end of the day, guys, pay your bills on time. If you have credit cards, which everybody should, we're going to get to that in a second, pay at least the minimum. Okay, set them up on auto pay, things of that nature. We're going to talk about that. In the event that you do have late payments, we know we're in the pandemic. A lot of people lost their jobs or they were laid off, things of that nature. There are ways around getting rid of late payments. There are things called goodwill letters. Another trick you can also do is email the CEOs and ask them for forgiveness. You pretty much tell them your situation and ask them for forgiveness, and just anything you can do to try to help, the better. Okay. So here it goes with payment history. It's just a numbers game. Yep. We all know, especially in our business as entrepreneurs, everything we do is numbers. The more people we talk to, the better our odds of having people sign up and getting on our services and using our services. It's the same thing here with the payment history. It's a numbers game. And as you see at the bottom here, here's the example. Just for example, say if you only got 3 accounts that you make payments on and 2 of those payments was on time, you missed just 1 and it puts you at 66%. However, just for example, you have 1,000 payments here. You made 999 payments and you missed 1 payment. Now your payment history is at 99.9. And right here, when it comes to the grading, like say for instance, you were looking at Credit Karma, you will actually see your payment ratios here. And we want to keep it up here at 99 and 100% as much as we can, because anything, as you see, just dropping it to 98%, that's fair. Anything below that is poor. So let's keep our payments on time, guys. So 30% is utilization. And what that is actually the balances of all of your credit cards as compared to the credit limits on all your credit cards. So there is a myth out here that people think that they know about the 30% utilization rate, but they really don't understand it. What they think that is I should keep all my credit cards at 30%, and that is 100% incorrect. Your balances on your credit cards, no matter how many credit cards, should only add up to 30% of the limits. Let me give you a simple example. If you have 2 credit cards and both of the limits are $500, then the limits together is $1,000, which means that each one of those credit cards balances should be no higher than 150 plus 150, that's 300, which is 30% of 1,000. Rule of thumb, keep your credit cards between 0 and 9%. And let me explain the no memory element. What's crazy about our credit, you can max out your credit cards this month, but pay them off the next month, and the credit does not remember what you did the following month, and that won't affect your credit negatively. So if you pay them off, you're going to see or pay them down really, really low, you're going to see a boost in your credit score that following month because it doesn't remember your bad behavior from the previous month. So keep your balances low. So anytime your utilization rates of your credit cards exceeds any of these thresholds or decreases under any of these thresholds, that's when your credit score changes. So as stated, keep them credit cards under 9%, guys. So here is credit limit used against total credit limit. Here's the actual scoring and grading here, 0 to 9, as stated, that's excellent. 10 to 29, that's good. 30%, 49, fair. And we see what poor is. All right. And this is just another example of the one I just gave with the $300 and the 1,000, guys. So keep them low, keep them down. So also for those of you who are fall green personalities, we know in our businesses, we got names for the type of personalities we have. If you're a fall or a green or an urchin or a phlegmatic personality like myself, meaning I like details and analyzations, there's actually a calculation as to where your credit card should be. And this is how you do it. This is the formula, guys. You would take your credit limit, multiply that by 0.06289, and that's where all of your balances on your credit cards should be. So just doing some simple math, let's say if you have a $10,000 limit and you want to multiply that times that 0.06289, that means your balances should be no higher than $628.90. When you are working with your credit card, see, when your credit is increasing and getting better, you have the right to call up your credit card companies and get better terms for them and do a product change without a hit on your credit report. So when your credit is getting better, call those companies up and say, you know, my credit is at a better standard than it was 6 months ago. Hey, I would like a interest decrease on here, or I would like a balance increase, you know, stuff like that. And if they say no, ask to speak with a supervisor. And when you actually increase your credit limit, it's also going to increase your score because it's going to decrease your total utilization. Did y'all catch that? Yeah. So 15% is your credit age. Old credit is good credit. Do not close your accounts. A lot of us who went to school, actually, you started your credit when you started getting those student loans. But the mistake a lot of people do, you know, a lot of people grew up thinking that credit cards are the devil, and they're not. You have good relationships with your credit cards because you'll have good relationship with your credit. It will treat you good back, right? So don't cut up your credit cards. Don't call them up and say, I need you to close this account. I don't want credit cards no more. No, you want your credit to be as old as possible. Many credit cards you can put your children on. Some of them, you know, you gotta wait till your child's 13 or 16. Other companies don't have a minimum. You can put them on there today. So you can start your kids off right, give them a good chance, give them a better chance than what we had, okay? And as you see, 9+ years, that's the maximum. You get the most points. That's when you get the most out of that 15%. So keep those accounts open. Fun fact, many people think that when they pay off something, they just did a good thing for their credit. Nope. Unfortunately, when we pay off things, no matter what it is, your house, your car, whatever, you got personal loans, whatever, once you pay them off, even though that kind of is the goal, it's going to decrease your credit scores. Why? Because now it's a closed account, right? That's how they keep us in the game, y'all. They keep us wanting more. 10% is different types of credit mix. This is installment loans versus revolving loans. Installment loans are loans that we pay that goes down, that should never go back up, like our mortgage, our car notes, personal loans. Then we have revolving loans, which are the credit cards. And it's revolving because it's a circular type of relationship when it comes to your credit cards, because you're going to use them, you're going to pay them down, you're going to use them again, pay them down. Basically, it's ever going, right? It's revolving all the time. 21 accounts to maximize the points. A lot of people think, oh, I got a lot of accounts, that's a bad thing. No, if you got a lot of accounts, that's actually good, as long as you keep those balances down, okay? It all works together. Another 10% is inquiries, new credit open. Anytime you hear about a hard pull or a hard inquiry, something like that, if it's going to be an inquiry on your credit report, that's because it had a hard pull. So y'all know anytime you're pretty much applying for new credit, cars, loans, things of that nature, mortgages, just about everybody. Just about everywhere you go is going to be a hard pull. You don't want to open up a lot of credit all at one time. Keep your inquiries under five and under. That's how you get the most out of that 10%. Even though the hard inquiries do fall off after 2 years, you do want to keep them down because you don't want to look desperate when it comes to credit. The rule of thumb, keep them 2 and under. That's the best. And yes, inquiries can be removed. Want to give you some other advice. Say, for example, you want to purchase a car, right? What you can do is take your scores that's been pulled from within the last 30 days. Take them to the car dealership, say, hey, here are my scores. You do not need to run my credit. What y'all going to do? Just like that. Another thing too is you always want to monitor your credit. And the one site that is recommended by the federal government, the Federal Trade Commission, is the annualcreditreport.com. And if you don't know, we are all entitled to 1 credit pool per year for free. Anything other than that, you do have to pay for. But FICO.com, you get your actual true credit scores for all 3 credit bureaus. And there is a monthly charge for that, about $30, guys. So I want to tell you a little bit about third-party reporting agencies. And these guys are super, super important. And let me explain to you why. The 3 big credit companies are not the ones that house our information. It's these secondary reporting guys here. You may have heard of check systems. You've probably heard of check systems. I'm pretty sure you've heard of LexisNexis, but there's a bunch of these little guys out there. They are the ones that hold these specific types of information. So one good thing to do, and this is just another little add-on bonus I'm gonna put in here for you guys. Anytime you're actually going through the credit repair and credit restoration process, what you want to do is actually freeze these bad boys or opt out. Why? That prevents the big 3 from retrieving information from them. And if you have negative items get off your credit report, it makes it easier to come off. And at the end of the day, that's not the end all be all. However, it helps. These bad boys right here. And I just wanted to show you about LexisNexis specifically because LexisNexis houses public records. And one of the big things that they house is bankruptcy. So yes, as you see this person right here, y'all see it dismissed, discharged, chapter 7 bankruptcy. You know, and if it comes off your credit report, then you can go ahead and do what you need to do. So how many credit scores do you have? We actually have 28 credit scores. The FICO 8 model is the one that's used the most, but as you see, different industries actually use different models. Reason being is anytime the models are upgraded, they actually have to pay to get that information to get your credit scores in order to give you a loan. So some companies will just stick with a similar model because they don't want to pay. I don't know how much it costs, but obviously it costs some money in order to do it. But yes, different industries use different different types of FICO scores that's on there. And the most updated one right now is FICO 9. But a lot of FICO 8 is actually used. So here we are here, most widely used. Now on the right-hand side, this is actually what the myfico.com looks like when it comes to your credit scoring. And if you guys didn't know, there's also different credit scores when it comes to the different industries. For example, there is an auto score, which tells your actual FICO score for the auto industry when they're giving you insurance. Excuse me, that's the insurance score. There's the auto score for the interest rate you're going to get for your car. Then there's like the insurance score for the type, how much they're going to charge you for your car insurance. And there's also a hiring risk because some employers do check your credit before they hire you and or give you a promotion. So that 3-digit number is way, way, way more important than people think. But as you see, we have the different types of models over here with the different types of industries. So one thing you do need to always remember that you need positive trade lines to build credit. The number one way to build your credit is with credit cards. That is number one. Number two, there are also credit building loans where you actually take a small loan out on yourself, and you can pretty much set how much you want to pay back a month. And they're excellent credit score building tools. There are a few companies out there that does that, and they actually report to all 3 credit bureaus. That's very important. A highly underutilized tool is something called a CARE credit card, which is actually used for medical expenses. We're going to get into that in a second. Then you got personal loans, mortgage, car loans. There are also rental reporting services out here. Guys, listen, if you're actually paying rent and you're not using your rent to increase your credit scores, you are missing out. Okay. And also authorized users. Any event that you're going to be an authorized user, you need to do it with a close family member, most likely a sibling or a partner. Authorized users are good. They can help build up your credit scores, but unfortunately you are tagging along on somebody else's credit. So this happens a lot actually in divorces, where one spouse is on the other spouse's credit cards and all that good stuff. They get divorced, they take them off. As soon as they take them off, their credit score gets dumped down to the toilet. So always have your own backup game when it comes to your credit. CYA all the time. So some more information about the CARE credit card. You can actually get approved for this card for a 620 credit score. It reports to all 3 credit bureaus, is accepted by over 225,000 providers in this country. The application process is very simple. There's an interest-free period. You can set it from 6 to 48 months, but here's the catch with a CARE credit card. You have to pay the entire bill off during the entire interest-free period. Pay it all off. Why? Because anything that you have left within that interest-free period, once it's over, when you originally charged it for that particular medical procedure, the interest is retroactive from where you charged it from. So even if you only got $1,000 left and you charged $10,000 originally, that interest rates is going to be calculated from the $10,000 and not the $1,000 you owe now. But it is a highly underutilized tool to build credit scores. So something that's very important, because since credit cards are the #1 way to build your credit, because it encompasses 90% of your credit. That's what credit cards consume when it comes to your credit. That's why they're so important. And without credit cards, you are cheating yourself out of 30%. So would you rather feed into yourself 90% or cheat yourself out of 30? Do the math there, okay? Now, things to consider when you are getting a credit card. You want to think about the interest rates. You want to think about who they report to. So a very highly bank that I would recommend anybody have a relationship with is Navy Federal Credit Union, if you can get in, because y'all know that's for service people and their families. They report to all 3 credit bureaus, and they're pretty good with their information as far as reporting to the credit report bureaus accurately. I don't know about how many of you guys got this Apple card, but Apple got us. I think a lot of us, we are Apple, we done became Apple goons or whatever, but Apple got us. Unfortunately, Apple only reports to TransUnion, guys. So yeah. Then we have something like Discover. We know about Discover, but they do report to all 3 credit bureaus, and that's very important when considering the getting a card. So this is just a few examples I wanted to show you about it. But one thing I wanted to show you how important this is, because there are credit cards out here that only report to 1 or 2 credit bureaus. So your best bet is to get one that reports to all 3. Here's a couple of credit cards that you can get with very low credit scores. My absolute favorite is the Sable card. Sable card starts as a secured credit card, but it can become unsecured in as little as 4 months. There's no credit check. It's cash back on all purchases. Reports to all 3 credit bureaus. Guess what? Doesn't need any credit history. And it doesn't do a credit check, so it don't even matter. It comes attached with a checking account, and as soon as you apply and activate, it actually comes with a virtual card. So you can pretty much use it as soon as the money is uploaded. And let me explain to you what a secure credit card is, because I am finding that people don't know what a secure credit card and they think it's a scam. No, it's called a secured card because you have to put down a security deposit, which means due to your credit history, or your low credit scores, you can't get a traditional unsecured credit card. So yes, you start with your own money. So here are some popular ones. So Sable is my favorite. I absolutely love it. There's a Discover It card as well. Capital One, Open Sky, Capital One Quicksilver, and Bank of America. But something I do need you to understand when it comes to some of these major banks, even though you are starting with your own money, they can turn you down. Or they can say, instead of you putting $300 on, you got to put on $700 because your credit is that jacked, or you don't have any credit. Okay. So get a secured card if you can't get a major bank. Got Milestones, Credit One, First Premier. Truthfully speaking, I would stay away from Credit One. They have monthly fees as well as annual fees. First Premier is pretty bad as well. So stay away from those cards. And something Keyon and I spoke about before, having bad credit is expensive, guys. People don't think it's important, or they wait until they get turned down for something just to find out that my bad credit is costing me this much. And a lot of people walk around with bad credit for 10, 20, 30 years because they don't think it's important. Unfortunately, guys, we know that this is just one sector of financial literacy. We're all in the financial literacy game. We have a lot of work ahead of us when it comes to educating the public, but having bad credit is going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars each year of your life. And I like to show some examples here. We got a $200,000 house, 30 years fixed. Look at the difference between the 740 and 560 credit scores. And there are banks out here that will lend you a mortgage with a 560 credit score. Yes, it can happen. But why would you want to? Don't be impatient just to cost yourself more money, because look at that 958 mortgage compared to that 2121 mortgage. This person on the left is paying more than twice what the person on the right is paying because of their credit. This person on the left is paying more than 3 times the interest the person on the right is. This person on the left is paying more than double what the person on the right is because of that poor credit. One more example here. I talk to people all the time, and they're willing to get a car at any cost. Talked to a gentleman one time. He said, well, my credit must not, he inquired with me about credit and then said, well, it must not be that bad. I just got a car. I said, cool, what's your interest rate? He told me 20%. When do you ever think you're going to pay that car off? But let's take a look at John and Jane right here. You know, bad credit. Look at the interest rates. You know, I tell people, if you're paying double digits for your interest rate, you're paying entirely too much interest for your car. You see the payment here is almost $150 difference. That's another bill. Bad credit is expensive, and it will cost you thousands and thousands of dollars per year. So do your due diligence when it comes to applying for the credit cards. As I was saying, keep in mind about the interest rates. Some cards have a fixed interest rate. Other cards do. The interest rate is based on your credit, but if you're going to go with a secure card, especially go with one with a more fixed interest rate. Avoid card with monthly fees. Consider how much you're mandated to put down if you have to for the secured card. You want to get a card if you can. You can, where you pick how much you want to put down. And if you cannot get the unsecured card, go with the secured card first and then build yourself up so you can get the unsecured. But if you can get an unsecured card, please do it. And excuse me, there's something in here, but and make sure you are always make your credit cards, they're positive trade lines. You need positive trade lines. Paying everything on time. Pay what's spent on your credit cards. Remember, keep them under 10%. When we have there's something here called a 5 to 3 hack, and what that is we're like pretty much programmed to pay things on their due date. But when it comes to credit cards, you actually want to pay it on the statement date. And there's a little hack with credit cards where you can kind of trick the system, like you made 2 payments in a month. It's called the 15-3. You pay like half of it and within 15 days of your statement date, then pay it again within 3. Your statement date is kind of tricks the system that you made 2 payments. And then a lot of times, well, all the times, you will never see, I've never seen it, all three of your credit scores being the same. And the reason why is the credit bureaus work independently of each other, and creditors, some creditors file to whatever credit bureau they want to. So whatever credit bureau they report to, that's why our three scores are different. So as stated, just like with the credit cards, like a lot of credit cards only report to two, some of them point, a lot of them do report to three, but then you got the ones that just report to one. And guess what? Reporting to the credit bureaus is actually voluntary. There is no law that says your creditor, doesn't matter if it's a mortgage, because yes, I did meet someone with a mortgage that they don't report to the credit bureau. There's no law saying they have to. So actually reporting to the credit bureaus is voluntary for creditors. So as I was saying a few minutes ago, always advise your people when it comes to their credit to do their due diligence. They need to do their homework. See, I know y'all already understand, as y'all being insurance professionals, that people need to do their due diligence, and they need to participate in their own rescue. So as I was saying earlier, you can print out your own scores, print out your own credit report, and take them to the car dealership. Like, hey, I just pulled this less than 30 days ago. Here you go. Tell me what y'all can get me, so you don't have to run my credit. Any personal loans and credit cards, once again, what credit bureaus are you reporting to? Where are you pulling from? What scoring models used? That's in the fine print, guys. But a lot of times we don't take the time to do that. The latest news when it comes to credit, see, I want y'all to understand though that this is already out here. This is called the FICO 10 scoring model, and Advantage 4 is out as well. The thing about it is a lot of creditors have not adopted it yet, because what happens when the new FICO scoring models come out, creditors, they actually have to pay to use that particular model. So obviously it must be a lot of money, because a lot of people haven't upgraded yet. But unfortunately, when the FICO 10 modeling is adopted by more creditors, a lot of people are going to be in trouble. Because if you see what's right here at the bottom, remember I told you guys that our credit has a note memory element, meaning you can run something up one month, pay it off the next month, and it won't remember that you ran it up. But guess what? When FICO 10 is adopted, it will remember that. Now that's going to affect your credit score that next month, which means it's going to be lower. So which means, guys, we need to have better relationships. Just like we teach people to have better relationships with their money, we need to have better relationship with our credit and treat it better, period. Also, authorized users will lose that impact. What got that you to that 700 credit score because you got yourself on somebody else's credit card with good credit, you no longer will get that credit anymore. And I don't think I really explained about authorized users. When it comes to you getting on somebody else's credit card, so whatever they do with that credit card, that now becomes your history. So all the good payment history, that's how people get credit increases. But if they start abusing it, if they start running it up, if they start making late payments, now that is your history. So the authorized user can go either way. If you will be getting an authorized user, say if you become an authorized user for somebody, it needs to be a family member, a partner, sibling, something like that. There are people out here who will pay for authorized usage, and that's not 100% legal. So that's not something you want to do. But there are people out here that make a lot of money when they do it. So guys, just more tips when it comes to your credit. If you're in the case where you do owe some things, I've been there. I'm going to say that most of us have. Don't talk to the debt collectors. People like to talk. So what they need to do, what they try to do, is to keep you on the phone, talk and get you into paying it, something like that. If you are not in the position to pay it, you can settle a debt. But whatever your agreement on, I advise you to get it in writing. Also, if you are on the phone with them, all of their calls are always recorded. So in the event somebody's denying something they said, you can ask for the recording from the compliance department, because that can end you up in court. Okay. Don't give them your personal information. Don't give them your bank information, and don't admit that the debt is yours unless you're going to do something with a payment agreement or settlement agreement. And another tip, guys, in the event that you are doing some type of payment arrangement or settle agreement, get them to agree to take all the negativity associated with it off of your credit report. So guys, that's pretty much it. In conclusion, pay your bills on time, put them on auto pay, make frequent payments if you can. You can dispute credit errors, even when it comes to your personal information. Ask for higher limits, ask for lower interest rates, open a secured card if need be, keep your credit cards open, and always have different types of credit when it comes, and keep yourself educated. Stay educated. I know I like to tell you guys that, but because we know how deep this financial literacy thing can get, it can go way deeper. But keep yourself educated, educate your family as much as you can. Y'all know we out here giving people the red pill from the matrix so we can wake them up, y'all. We got a lot of work to do and we got to stick together and do it. So let's keep ourselves educated so we can continue educating the public. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope I taught y'all something a little bit. Like I said, this is just a little intro with credit 101 because credit can get a whole lot deeper than this. Trust me when I tell you. And this bad boy paused. Okay. But other than that, Keyon, that is just pretty much my spill for tonight. I am ready for questions.
All right. Oh my God, guys, before we get started, I just want everybody just to unmute real quick and just give a round of applause for all that information from Coach Tyra. Oh my God.
Thank you.
You didn't learn something tonight. I don't know what happened to you. My notebook is on fire right now, right? So I guess what I want to do is if you would like to ask a question, right? So we can have this uniform. If you would like to ask a question, just raise the hand and we're going to call on you and get you. If you have any question, just use the raise your hand button in the Zoom and we're going to call on you in an orderly fashion. So just raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question and we're going to call on you and then we're going to ask you to unmute. All right. So just raise the hands. We're going to give everybody just a quick little second just to raise your hand. And I must tell you, Coach Tyra, man, you always just dropping gems on top of gems today. And another great example of that. So let me just here, give me a second. All right. So let me. All right, I'm just gonna let it get the questions as well. All right, so I think I seen Phoenix raise her hand first.
Yes.
So let me just ask her to unmute. All right, Phoenix.
Go ahead, I'm listening to you. If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
I sure was.
And so you sure was, huh?
So yeah. So first I said I want to say thank you because that was a lot of good information, and I do appreciate it. Only thing I wanted to clarify or needed clarification for myself was the FICO 10, because to my understanding, it actually kicked in at the end of last year. So people actually already saw their scores change based on the new matrix for the FICO 10.
Yes, but when I was speaking more so about the FICO 10 is the adoption for the creditors to actually adopt it to use it as a scoring model when it comes to interest rates and things of that nature. So yeah, FICO 10 has been out since 2020. I was speaking more so on the credit side, creditor's side.
Yeah, that's what I thought they already started last year.
They have, but it's like it's like a ripple effect when it comes to adopting the new one. I'm not sure how popular it is, but as stated, different industries use the different models anyway. Like I just recently just bought another car a couple of days last week actually, and they're not using FICO 10.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, because I actually asked them. So yeah, you're welcome.
Let me see. I think we had who else? All right, I'm just gonna pick on the top down. Ola.
Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you, Tara. So I have a question. I have a business and I don't know how I can open a credit for my business.
Okay, so business credit and personal credit, you want to keep them separate. The only thing about it, when your business credit is new, you'll find yourself given a personal guarantee on your personal credit a lot. It's easier to build it that way than to do the things that it takes to make the business credit straight from the giddy up. It's harder to do it that way. And with the personal guarantee, they pretty much do a soft inquiry on your personal credit report in order to grant you some business credit, but it's still tied to your social, because in the event that you do go delinquent with that account, even though it's for the business name, they'll still go after you on your social security number personally for it in the event that you default. So there's a lot of steps to open up business credit.
Okay, thank you.
And just to tell y'all, I'm not an expert on, I do know some things when it comes to business credit, but I'm not an expert on it, guys.
All right, and I know we have Consuela.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for all your information.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So my question for you is, I have some lab fees that went into collection recently. So would I mean, if I just pay it all flat out, like how would that affect my credit?
So unfortunately, when it comes to paying stuff off on your credit, it does nothing really for your credit score because all of the negativity is still there. So in the event that you do pay it, like I was saying, get them to agree that they'll take the negativity off your credit report and settle. I wouldn't pay all of it, but then, there's also a disputing process where medical bills can be taken off your credit report. Remember, the Fair Credit Reporting Act says that we can go basically dispute anything negative on our credit report. And sometimes, believe it or not, medical bills are HIPAA violations because your personal information was given to those, your personal medical information was given to those companies to actually report. Not all medical bills are HIPAA violations, but you can dispute them kind of based off of that. So, and disputing takes it off your credit report. But so you got the option of disputing them to come off your credit report. That is a process, or settling for less than what you owe. And as I stated, get them to agree to get all the other stuff taken off your credit report that's associated with it. And they don't like doing that. You can request it. It is your right to request it. It's like a boxing match when it comes to them. They're going to fight with you, trust me.
Yeah. All right, then. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and then we have Kelly.
Yes, hi, Miss Tyra. My question is, where would we be able to get like forms or a template to dispute the things that are in collections? And I guess that's my first question. And my second question is, besides like medical collections, are there any other one that can be disputed with the whole HIPAA or personal, when the third party gets our personal information, can we still dispute it?
Yes. So number one, the Fair Credit Reporting Act says that we can dispute anything on our credit report, especially if it's obsolete, if it's inaccurate or erroneous. Number one, that was a law passed by Congress in the 1970s. And when it comes to things like collections, what happens is a lot of times the original creditor, they just send a bunch of information to those collection companies. And what ends up happening, stuff can be put on your credit report that's not correct. I mean, over 80% of credit report has some type of errors with it. And that can be with just what the amounts that's owed. It can be something as simple as your personal information. Your birth date can be incorrect. And when there are things that's incorrect actually tied to the debt, that's the reason why we can get it off your credit report. That was one of your questions, and I'm sorry, I'll need you to tell me the other one.
Yes, so perfect. That's my second one is I know that medical I think you pretty much answered it. The huh? Oh, the template. Where can we
Oh,
find
yeah.
a template to be able to send? Because I'm thinking as far as like plan goes, and I don't know if I'm speaking for my family, that okay, we get our report, we look at the things that we want to dispute, get the addresses or emails, but where can we get a template to properly like, send off what we need to get disputed?
So you have a choice. Number one, you had the choice of using a professional. And however those professionals, they'll use what they have when it comes to disputing your things. Now, when you disputing things yourself, you have to be careful with the templates. And what I'm saying be careful is I wouldn't advise you to just Google a dispute letter template because
So no TikTok templates.
well, here's the good thing about TikTok. We on these platforms, these social media platforms, and we're educating people. There's a lot of people out there on TikTok giving free game as Facebook and Instagram, and I really appreciate, and I believe that's how Keyon and I came across from each other. Keyon be on there giving free game all the time. So there's professionals out there that can help you. But you, like as I stated, go ahead and I would say leave it to a professional for real. But can you do it on your own? Yeah, you can. But the thing when it comes to the templates, what I want you to understand is that these are not people actually that are checking your dispute letters. They're not people, they're actually machines. And there are codes associated with the things that you are disputing in the type of language that's being used. So when it sees this is from my understanding of how these machines work. When it sees that same language, it's going to spit it back out and it's going to deny it. So you got to be careful with the templates. And that's why it's important to use professionals.
Thank you.
But at the end of the day, you have the right to do it yourself as well.
Got it. No plagiarism.
Well, Google is public record for the most part, so it's no plagiarism.
Then we have Caleb.
How you doing? The question that I wanted to ask you is that I had a business. Well, I have a business. I have an Amazon store, but it's automated. And the problem that I have, and I'm sad to say it, is that I messed up my credit. And what I'm trying to figure out right now is it possible for me to get a business, get it into a business? But if it's automated, is that even possible? Because I'm not running a business myself. And then the second part is I was looking to do like cash back with my business because with my Amazon store, I was using my credit card, but I wasn't getting any cash back. And I don't know that process at all. And I wanted to know if you know about that process also.
That is a little above my pay grade when it comes to the business credit. But just think about it, when you made that business or whatever you was doing credit wise with the business, did you use your social security number or did you use your EIN, or did you use both?
I use my EIN.
And you didn't use your social at all?
Well, actually my EIN, I think it was, see what's so crazy, I set it up two years ago. My wife actually set it up for me. I just get the cash. But I think that my social is attached to it, but she did all of the paperwork. She does like all of that type of stuff. But I know I definitely messed it up though. And I'm trying to figure out how to correct it. But it's been like 2 months. Like I missed my Christmas season on my Amazon store. And like everything is just sitting there still, but there's no money that's being made right now.
Okay. Well, like I said, that's not really my expertise, but if your social security number is attached, remember they can come after you personally as well. I would say, yeah, I would seek that type of professional that does business credit, because that's not really my thing.
And what about the cashback part? Like with Navy Federal Union, my mother was a part of Navy Federal Union, but she passed away in 2018. I never closed out her account. Would I be able to call them and like to do that? Or is it too long? Like, has it been too much time in between?
Yeah, you would need some type of power of attorney to do that.
I am.
Oh, you are the power of attorney. Then yeah, that's something you need to get on. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Because that's all
Thank
they
you.
gonna, they not gonna release the information to nobody else. Unless she died with a spouse or some type of power of attorney. And my condolences.
Thank you. Well, you helped me out with that one because once you said Navy Federal Union, my antennas went up. So I'm definitely going to give them a phone call, like probably tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who we got next, Keyon?
Chandler and then Tamara.
Okay.
So I have 3 questions. First is, when you say we're never to contact a debt collector, if we're trying to pay off something that might be in collections, is it okay to contact them at that point, or just never contact them and hope it falls off?
Okay. Yeah. Let me clarify that. You don't want to just ignore your stuff. You do want to do something about it. But when you remember, when you're calling them and you're speaking with them, you are pretty much admitting to what they say you owe them for the most part.
Okay, so then you can't dispute it.
That's the thing. If you're going to do the dispute process, that's when you don't want to contact them. I apologize, everybody. Let me clarify that. That's when you don't want to contact them because the professional is doing that on your behalf, or you might have an attorney, a credit attorney that's doing things on your behalf. And at that point, you of course let the professional take care of it. And then another thing is to watch out for is to make sure they're not violating your rights, because they will try.
Okay.
They do it all the
All right.
time.
And my second question is, I have heard that it's illegal for creditors to continue to renew the date of your debt, and that's a way that you can get it removed from your credit.
Okay, so what you're so it is a violation of our rights. So like when something comes off you'll see this happen sometimes. When something comes off your credit report and it comes back on, coming back on, that is a violation of our rights. So yeah, in a way, yeah, it's illegal. But a lot of people don't know that. We don't know our rights. So that's the importance of knowing them. And when you're in a dispute process, wherever you're using to monitor your credit, never dispute anything electronically. You are giving up your rights for recourse. You always want to do it on paper. As we know, paper trails all the time.
Okay, and my third question, it kind of goes along with Kelly, what she was asking about what she was asking about the disputing stuff and the templates and stuff. What is your view on Lexington law? Oh Lord.
Hold on. I gotta do something here real quick before I answer that. Here's the thing, when credit is very subjective to the individual. Your credit is actually as subjective to you as your fingerprint. There are so many variances and so many factors that affect your credit. It's crazy. And that's why I got the algorithms that's not always easy to understand and everything. We try to master it as much as we can. At the end of the day, Lexington law can work very well for somebody. It can. The only thing about it is Lexington Law is a for-profit company. And when it comes to credit repair and for-profit companies, it limits them to how fast they can actually work for you. So that if you ever heard of somebody being with Lexington Law for years, which is not unheard of when it comes to that company, is because they're only able to dispute a certain amount of things at a time per dispute cycle. So whenever you have a for-profit company that is doing credit repair, it's going to be more timely for the most part. And, I've spoke to very few people that love Lexington Law. They said, hey, they did this, and this for me. But a lot more people I speak to doesn't like them. And the thing about it is not that they, like, people think, oh, they're a scam. It's not so much that they're a scam. It's the way that they're doing business with the type of business that they are. So in the event that you are able to go through a dispute process with a company, if they are nonprofit, they're able to go after everything on your credit report with all 3 credit bureaus at the same time. So if you can find a nonprofit company, that's a good way to go. And then even if you're doing something with somebody with their own credit thing, I'm not saying don't use them, go ahead and do it, but it's different boats for everybody. Like Chandler, you and I can have the exact same credit report. It could take me 2 years to clear my stuff. It may take you 6 months. That's just how unique credit is to everybody.
Okay, yeah, me and my husband have used Lexington Law, and it worked really well for him. It bumped his score up like 40 points, but then once we canceled it, it dropped back down.
And why? Did anything come back?
I think 2 things that were in the works came back because we canceled it. So then they stopped pursuing it.
And then they also were part of a class action lawsuit for disputing things electronically. And that's the last thing you want to do. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have Tamara.
Hi.
Hello.
My question is, I'm pretty much doing what you're saying, which is like automatic payments for your bills. And you pretty much just taught me that I was doing something wrong, which was I was doing 30% on my credit cards. So now I know I need to stay under that. But I wanted to know, is there anything else I can do to start improving my credit score? Because I feel like I was doing everything except for that I'm going to start moving forward with the 30%. But I feel like my credit score is not changing. It isn't moving. It isn't doing anything. So is there anything else I can do, or is it just pretty much a wait, like a time period thing?
Sometimes it does take credit a little bit to move, but there are multiple things you can do. Well, my first question for you is, how many trade lines do you have? How many credit cards do you have? Do you have any personal loans? Things of that nature. Credit building loans, how many trade lines do you have? Do you have a car note? Got a mortgage?
I have a car note. I have a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Care Credit. I have a Visa through my credit union, and then I just opened up a Chase card.
Mm-hmm.
Those, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you're on the right track. Keep your credit card balances under 10% and make sure you pay that Care credit card off. I mean, there's nothing wrong with adding another credit card as well. It's 3 to 5 credit cards are good.
Okay.
Just make sure you're paying them on time and don't keep your balances high.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, credit sometimes, based on Tamara Neely's credit report, it just is what it is sometimes when it comes to credit. Just treat it right. That's all, because it will treat you right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll just take one more from Kelly again, and that'll be the last one for our session today.
Yay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Care Credit, I have a balance from Care Credit that's been in collections for, I want to say, about since 2013.
Ooh.
Will it ever drop, or do I just have to pay it off?
I can't really tell you what that account is going to do. However, what's the status? Is it still open? What is it, open or closed on your credit report?
I think it's open. It says it's open, but this is from I'm getting my information from Karma. What is it? Karma.com.
Don't knock Credit Karma. The only thing you don't want to rely on Credit Karma about is the scores. Credit Karma is pretty much an excellent tool for actually what's on your credit report. It's really good.
Okay.
Sometimes that Credit Karma, believe it or not, might be more up to date than some of the credit bureaus, for real. But yeah, take a look at what's going on with that Care Credit on your credit report. You said it's in collections and it's open.
Yes. Sorry, I accidentally muted myself. It is in collections. It's I owe like $559 for like a wisdom tooth that I needed to get removed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just relied on the information when I was in college that, oh, you just don't pay it, for 7 years and it'll drop off. And I'm like,
Why is it getting renewed? I'm confused.
Yeah, that whole 7-year thing, there's something's gonna come off in 7 years, a myth.
Good to know.
Yeah, because I done seen people with bankruptcies on their credit report for 20 years. So,
Wow. Dang it, I have to pay
I mean,
it.
well, you got to decide what you want to do with it. Do you want to dispute it to get it? Are they coming after you for it? Or have they, like, even though it's still sitting on your credit report, like, are they even caring about it? Like,
Now I think about it, like the last, honestly, no. The one that I feel like I get the most calls is a T-Mobile bill that is in collections.
yeah.
I'm no longer with T-Mobile. So I guess I'm just wanting to see, what's worth.
I mean, that depends on what you want to do with your, like, are you looking to make like purchase a house or something? Because something that old shouldn't prevent you from getting a mortgage anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that's what, yeah, I do want to be able to get a house in 2 years. So good to know. Darn it, gotta pay it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Oh,
I
no.
would say if you're going to pay it, like I said, settle it. I wouldn't pay it for what.
Yeah.
Y'all already done wrote it off. So if you're going to pay it, and I'm not advising you to or not to.
Okay.
It's not my place. But if it was me, I wouldn't pay the whole thing.
Okay.
I'll
Will
settle
do,
it.
ma'am.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, guys, I had a blast with y'all tonight. Any event that you do want to, speak with me further, my name is Tyra Jacklene on all platforms. I'm gonna jump off because I actually have a training I need to get on myself. I had a blast with you guys. Thank you so much, Keyon, for inviting me tonight. As I said, I love educating, I love teaching, and I love developing relationships with other professionals as well. Like I said, guys, we gotta save the world, one financial literate person at a time. Because it's not easy trying to wake these people up, and this is what you need, man. You need everybody needs life insurance, man. I don't care if it's just a $10,000 policy. Like I said it the other day, and people cracked up, but I was dead serious. Like GoFundMe, fish fries, that's not life insurance, man. And you putting your burdens on somebody else, and they don't deserve that. So, life insurance, estate planning, and all that good stuff, credit, this financial literacy hole is big, and we gotta put our capes on. You gotta keep them on and be out here educating these folks. So I appreciate you all. Keyon, thank you so much. Any other time you want to do it again, just let me know. We'll plan it, and we'll promote it. And like I said, let's teach these folks out here, okay?
Absolutely. Guys, give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always remember, guys, cash is king, but credit is queen. You need both of them to build an empire. All right. So that's it, guys. Have a wonderful night. It was such a pleasure. See you guys soon. Have a good night.
Okay.
Good
Good night.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.